Hello, everybody, and welcome to the newest indoor adventure in Gold Rush, a D&D 4th edition campaign. Today is February 5th, 2024, and you are loved. And that is a very important thing that we like to remind each and every single one of our viewers and listeners at the beginning of each and every single one of these games. If this is your first time joining us, you can go to youtube.com/indooradventures to check up on all of the VODs of each of the games that we've played up until this point, or you can go towards anywhere audio casts are being made available for free. You can find us there under the same moniker. Now, speaking of things that are being made available for free, hey, we do an after show. It's called Nights in the Courtyard, where we answer questions not only from each other, but also from the community. So, if that is something that interests you, again, it's being made for free. Patreon.com/indooradventures is where it's being hosted. And hey, if you want to help pay for some of the software and the art that we use, it is going to be a great time. Now, again, patreon.com/indooradventures. But let's say you already support us on Patreon. You already support us on YouTube and Twitch and all of those other wonderful places, and you're trying to think to yourself, where can I go to help support this fantastic show even more? Well, guess what, Acorns? I got your back. Quite literally, in fact, because if you go to indooradventure.redbubble.com, we got t-shirts, we got posters, we got mugs, we got crop tops, throw pillows, shower curtains, aprons, clocks. We even have face masks with the symbol of Tiamat upon them, designed by our very own Cyberwolf1201, and all of the proceeds of our merch is currently going to help support Doctors Without Borders. So, if you would like to help support a good cause, or possibly help support the show, you can again go to indooradventure.redbubble.com. That is indooradventure, no S at the end, .redbubble.com. But that is it for my opening spiel. So, hey, RJ, who are you playing tonight?
Hey everybody, I'm RJ, and today I'm playing Kalem, the Shatterkai Cleric.
Cleric fighter, obviously.
Cleric fighter. Kid, the Genasi Sword Mage.
Hello, everybody. I'm LBHackEmUp, and I am going to be playing Trisannas, or Triss. She is a Wilden Seeker.
And I am the indoor adventurer, he, him, and tonight I'm gonna be playing as Carruthers Edelweiss, or Ruth to his friends. He uses he, him pronouns and is what some like to call a human ranger.
And that just leaves me. Howdy, everybody. I'm Wings, also known as Danae Keener, she, her. I'm going to be playing as the Dungeon Master tonight in this Weird West 4th edition adventure. This is the most technically complicated adventure that we have thus far played on the Indoor Adventures channel. I'm fairly certain. And this campaign was written by yours truly. So how's about I get a little bit into the setting?
Oh, let me get my harmonica.
Years ago, when law was first discovered, the initial rush was to go west to get to where the gold was. It wasn't long after when the rush became getting gold wherever it could be found, even if it was from your neighbor. From that conflict, the lawman was born. They rose up, using their power over law to protect the weak and defeat any outlaws looking for trouble. The most famous lawman was a dwarven prospector named Goldtooth Joe, said to have dug the first mine of the gold rush. Together with his 4 deputies, called the Compass Roves, they conquered the West and brought peace to the Ramble. As time went on, their memory passed into myth. No one laid eyes on Goldtooth Joe in years. The outlaws grew restless, lawmen turned corrupt, the West became wild again. The rails closed, mail didn't run, towns and families were cut off by the dangers of the Ramble. The people wondered what had become of their beloved sheriff. One day, they received an answer. At sunset, an enormous flock of canaries flew from the western horizon and peppered the Ramble, each carrying a wanted poster in their tiny talons, printed with 4 faces and a message from Goldtooth Joe himself. My 4 treacherous deputies have trapped me behind the Palisade Mountains. Bring their badges to me on the Gold Coast, and all of my riches, every last bit of gold I've gathered over the years, will be yours. With that, a new rush has begun. A poster was delivered by a canary to every person imbued with law deemed powerful enough to challenge the deputies, meaning, of course, none of you guys have received a poster. You will have to earn your own poster one way or another. So I suppose we should probably start with Ruth and Kid, right? Um, I think that we had discussed that this young rapscallion had crossed paths with an older fellow, and decided that the older fellow was gonna buy the younger man a drink. Um, so let's start there. We will pull in on a lazy town with a lightly bustling saloon. Um, what do we see bellied up to the bar?
So I think it's a moment where like you look outside and it has those two swinging doors, and a long shadow appears under the door frame. You hear the sound of spurs clicking, and then the doors bust open, and there is a tiny man who you are assuming his beard weighs more than the rest of his person. Ruth stands about I have here listed 5'2", and he is 100 pounds soaking wet. Most of that is his beard. You can see that he has a kind of like a suspendery style get up to him. He looks like he might sleep in the clothes that he is currently wearing around town. Lots of holes, patches. He has a big bushy beard that hides the multitude of missing teeth that he has, and he has a little bit of a wild look in his pale blue eyes. Also, big hat. Cannot stress enough, this hat is wide. It's a very good hat.
Coming up from behind him, there is just another long shadow and the jingling of spurs as Kid walks in, hat pulled over his face, just holding it from like a breeze that was rolling through. He is a towering by comparison to Ruth, 5'10". Pale blue skin, curly hair as he removes his hat. Kempt clothing, as kempt as you can on the dusty trail, and the one thing that is notable is that he has his eyes closed all the time. It's that sort of, oh god, what do they call it in anime? You know the thing, Simon.
The fox eyes.
The fox eyes,
Mm-hmm.
like Teshvale.
Yeah.
And he will remove his hat and kind of dust a pant leg off as he heads over to the bar.
Okay. I think by the time that they get to the bar, Ruth, he'll use a couple coins, buy something not from the well, but that's available. Obviously, I mean it's a Wild West saloon, and I don't think they got a tap system working unless it's the big one.
I reckon whiskey. Whiskey probably, like a couple of fingers of whiskey.
Yep, for sure. And Ruth will set a glass next to him. Just, yeah, come on up here, man.
Mr. Ruth, I appreciate the drink.
Look, all I'm saying is, maybe you think better about going after the deputies for right now. Hey, what are you gonna do? You gonna show up with your quick pistol and wicked tongue and challenge them to a duel at sundown? These boys have a mastery over gold. And my apologies, maybe I haven't seen what it is you offer here. But that being said, I don't think that you'll last long against them.
Between you and me, Mr. Ruth, I haven't met a problem yet I can't fix with a shit ton of dynamite.
You met Gold, boy. The powers that gold can wield.
I'm aware of the powers of gold, good sir. I just think that I might be able to catch him unawares.
I see that. Well, how about this? This town ain't big enough for something or other. Now, if you're looking for a traveling companion, I have been out west to the Palisades before.
I gotta head out that way anyway. Be mighty kind to you if you were to guide me there.
I can guide you as far there as I can, but just be warned. It is not for the faint of heart, this trip.
I'm ready. Or at least I'll need to be.
I've heard that a couple times before. Now, if we are going, we're going to need supplies. We're going to need, what is it? Trusted individuals.
Do you know
got
anyone
anybody else? Oh.
I do not know. I do not have anyone else that will partake in this little posse of ours.
Well, oh no.
At the mention of a posse, I think it'd be a good time to cut away, just for the time being. LB, your character, is I would call them willowy, but that's not quite right. Tall with papery skin, a headdress of branches. We see them making their way down a busy street. You have received word through your connections that there's someone who's willing to parlay for possession of a wanted poster of the Compass Roves. This is essential to your goals. What do we see as Trisannas makes her way to the saloon?
You see a very gentle push on just one of the doors as a pale white barked skin hand pushes it out of the way. The skin or the bark sort of cracks as it moves up with black lining underneath. The hair, as it were, vines coming down from her head, wrap up in these branches, these white branches that spoke out from the top of her head. Her eyes are black with white pupils, and she has a very coy smile. Her outfit, as it were, is more so it's her barked skin, sort of almost like a corset moving down her body, these cracks cutting down through the center. And at her waist, she has a belt that has sort of torn strips of fabric in an off-white that almost match her skin to give her the illusion of wearing clothing, but without the need to be modest, for she has nothing to cover in that regard. But it is very much in the fashion of someone in a Western sort of era. And she wears those those ankled boots with the very hourglass shaped heel, and she sort of takes a moment as she enters, looks to anyone that looks to her, gives a nod, and makes her way up to the bar.
It's almost as if most of the people in here are trying to ignore you. They look away politely, keep their noses to their drinks. You make your way up to the bar, and what do you order?
Could I just have a glass of water, please? Iced if you have it.
All right. Fella behind the bar, he's wearing a leather jacket. Some conspicuous metal studs on the shoulders. He kind of gives you a weird look, but acquiesces. He places a glass on the bar and fills it with cold but not iced water.
Mm-hmm. She takes it up. Before taking a sip, she looks to the other two at the bar and says, "To you," and takes a sip.
You see Ruth sort of like puts a hand on his chest, like, oh,
You take that sip and you can see out of the corner of your eye someone making eye contact with you at a table a few steps away. He sort of waves you over. It appears to be the man that you've agreed to meet.
She stands and flips her skirt behind her and saunters, sitting down, crossing her legs and placing an elbow on the table. I heard tale that you might have something for me.
Might be not. We got plenty of time to work it out. It's just you, me, and a few close friends. And as he says that, you kind of look around. You realize that everyone in this saloon is dressed very similarly, with the leather jackets and the pointy shoulders.
Now, I don't think we need all that. Just the two of us best friends talking about a little business.
Sure enough, sure enough.
Now, from what I hear, something you have is might valuable, and I'm willing to offer a little something if price is right.
He kind of pulls a sly face. He sort of like pulls open his jacket, reaches in. You can hear the crinkle of paper inside. And just before he like pulls it out to give you a peek, he sort of takes his hands away for a second and he says, "There's something you got to know about Thorny Toad Jim. Is that he loves a game of poker."
Hmm. Well, I would be plush to play with you.
Whatever you decided might be an appropriate amount to offer up for this little piece of paper here, uh, why don't you just throw it in with a little bit of gambling?
Sounds very pleasant, but we can't just play the two of us. That doesn't seem very friendly. We should invite some others in.
Um, he seems to like have been expecting this. And you see him turn around and get ready to like, call over folks that are obviously a part of his own gang.
Mhm.
Um, and
Tris puts a hand up and goes, "Oh, gentlemen," pointing to Kid and Ruth at the bar. "We're about to partake in a game of poker. Would you enjoy to join us on this little fun game?"
Ruth pulls down his hat and you see that he has like hair in a ring around the back, bald, and then there is just one little tuft in the front. And he licks his palm, smooths it back, and he looks towards Kid and just, "You're not gonna screw this up for me." Chances like these don't come very often. We're playing cards, boy. He hops off his desk or hops off the chair and like strutting on up.
An exasperated sigh as Kid finishes his whiskey and places it on the table. He's going to humor this old man.
incredible.
A full
All right.
table.
Thorny Toad Jim is a little bit surprised. There wasn't supposed to be anybody else in the saloon at this point. He kind of shoots a glare over at the doorman, who is not at his post and is busy playing billiards. He kind of grumbles to himself, and he says, "All right, fine, let's deal in. At this point, I would like to roll initiative for a skill challenge."
Okay.
Nice.
Let me just make sure that I am on the right. Yeah, there we go.
Or are
gonna-
you? Oh, there it is.
I'm gonna hop into the page that you guys are in for roll 20, and then I'm going to pop open the turn order. So in order to roll initiative, you're gonna want to click on your token first, and then you're gonna want to hit initiative on your character sheet, and it should roll it directly into the turn order.
Nice.
I am loading back in. Did not like it. There we go.
Hey, nice.
Hey.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong. This is the first time that we used Roll20 for a game on the Indoor Adventure stream.
That is true.
We used it for...
Nope. I think Danae used it for Curse of Strahd.
And Tyler used it for
Tomb.
Yeah.
Tomb of Annihilation.
A couple
How
times.
do I select? Are we talking about the token that has our face on it?
Yeah,
Yep,
you
right
wanna
there on the
click
board.
click on your token, go into your character sheet, and then hit initiative.
Not letting me click on my token.
Oh, well, I probably didn't give you permission to click on your token.
Why?
Don't worry about it.
Okay.
It's
Yes,
a Roll20 thing. It's entirely possible that I just forgot to do it.
Maybe I'll load up again. It could be it too.
Oh, yeah, Technical difficulties.
Oh, I can select now.
Well, there you go. Yeah, it looks like everybody has permission to click on tokens.
Nope.
There you go. Well, dang. So both of you rolled 10s.
I'm fairly certain
Ruth and
Ruth has a
Kid.
higher dexterity than I do.
That's actually not the case in 4th edition. I have a very high strength, but my dexterity is only a 12.
You still have a lot more dexterity than I do.
Oh, okay. Well,
Incredible. I'm pretty sure that there's a way to like add in a tiebreaker. I just need to remember how to.
We'll talk about that break. You muted yourself.
I just muted myself by trying to hit period. All right, there we go. I'll just give you a 0.1. All right. Y'all remember how to do a skill challenge, right?
Yeah, I remember how to do it. This is
Scoring.
new, though.
For those of us at home, can you tell us what a skill challenge? Yeah.
Sure thing. Scoring is a little bit different from how we have previously done it. But otherwise it is mostly the same. The way that this is going to work is that we roll initiative to decide in what order y'all will attempt skills in order to advance your overall goal in this skill challenge, which for the time being is going to be winning at a game of poker. At this point, we're going to have 3 rounds. So for 3 rounds, you each will roll. I'll let you know whether or not you have succeeded or failed. There are a few special things that you can do that I have sent to you in the group chat. And at the end, we'll tally up how many successes you got versus failures, and that will determine how well or if at all you have succeeded at the skill challenge. Any questions?
Let's do it.
All right. At the top of the initiative, we have Trisannas. Trisannas, what would you like to do as the poker game opens up?
Trisannas has gotten very good at reading non-Wilden as part of her mission. So she is going to use insight to try to gauge. She's mostly trying to beat the gentleman in front of her. I'm sorry, Thorny-Toed Jim.
Yeah, that would be him. Yep.
So I think she's going to try and roll insight into how good everyone's hand is.
Okay.
It's a 15.
All right. A 15 isn't going to be quite enough.
Huh. We're level 1 today.
It's also 4th edition.
There's some big numbers.
Yeah, number get big in 4RE.
Line blow up.
Number get big. You are allowed to use an action point to re-roll if you would like.
How many action points do we have?
Un.
Just one?
The singular, yes.
Yes. until a short rest.
Sure. I'll try
Okay.
it again.
Give it a go. That will be
28.
plenty.
Wow.
You a little bit less concerned now?
Yeah. I mean, I have a +9, so it's not. Holy hell.
All right, that'll be a success. You are getting a read on the group. I have a quick question. With a 28 with her insight check, for both Ruth and Kid, what is her first impression on these two as far as gambling goes?
Kid has already thrown his hand away, and Tris can garner that. Kid is a very safe player. He would only go like super aggressive if he had a really good hand. Doesn't really know how to bluff. He's an honest poker player.
For Ruth, he's old. You're guessing this man has played games like this for a long time. Based off of how he sort of like flicks the cards back and forth in his hand, looks at them, sets them, shuffles, looks again, like he has a history of playing card games. Maybe not competitively, but at the same time, based off of how you're looking at him, he is seeing some easy marks and a free meal if he can get away with it. And also a conversation with a pretty tree lady. So there are pluses all around.
Sly old dog. Thorny Toad Jim is aggressive right out the gate. It seems that he is 100 miles an hour all the time. This is how he gets his kicks. Like, this is the only thing that he cares about. He's go, go, go.
All right.
All right, Ruth, you're up next.
Okay.
Now, as a reminder, and a thing that I didn't say earlier, you may not use a skill that was used previous to you in the turn order, and you may not use a skill that you used in the previous round.
Okay. So with that, okay, this is a question for the GM, the DM. How many cards are we playing with? Is this single deck 20? Is this single deck blackjack, or is this like 2, 3 decks? How many decks are we dealing with here? Because if it's only single deck, Ruth is going to purposefully like kind of play it safe until he starts realizing like he's just like putting like basically counting cards is what I would like this old man to do, is try and figure out, okay, what cards are remaining? What odds do I have? Like, if we're only doing single deck poker, oh my God, it's asking to be robbed.
It's single deck poker.
Hell yeah, perception it is.
All right, then hell yeah, go
Bam!
for it.
25!
Yes, that's a success.
Yeah, so I think Ruth is sort of like, okay, first hand, that's, okay, there's 4 people. That means 8 cards are, like, if we're also playing with an artificial house, using general house rules where on a 16 you bet, on a 17 you stay. Then
That's
that
21, my dude.
Yeah.
You can say, I'm gonna tell you right now,
Yeah.
you can say anything. I'm going to believe you.
Oh, yeah.
I'm
not a poker guy
don't
either.
know how to play poker.
Well, hey, did you know that there's another game where you're supposed to get to 21 that actually uses dice? A full set of polyhedral dice.
Oh, yeah, I've played that.
As an actual
poker's more
poker player,
thematic.
this pisses me off a little bit.
Speaking of an actual poker player, hey, how's Kid doing over there?
May I use Arcana to make sure nothing hinky's going on?
Oh, I love that. That's a great idea. Yeah, hell yeah, absolutely.
22.
That is a success.
I'm
I'm gonna say that you notice that there's the stink of gold coming off of Thorny Toad Jim. But it doesn't seem that he's using it for card playing yet.
it's not the stink of gold, but you can see, like, the camera will pan to Kid's eyes, and they're cracked ever so slightly. And there's the
Mm-hmm.
wafting trail of gold coming from Thorny Toad Jim.
Like he sort of shifts a little bit, and there's like a little bit of filigree that kind of shines along his jacket. All right. That is round 1. 3 successes under the belt. Back to Trisannas.
I think Trisannas is gonna try. Trissa's going to attempt to use her words and intelligence to show that she is versed in this game. She's played it a lot, especially with the carnies. And she is going to start speaking about the odds, probably maybe a little bit of that, and or start telling a story about how, you know, the last time I played this game, there was, you know, this, that, and the other, and sort of give a...
Yeah, like 1-deck poker versus 2-deck poker,
Yeah,
or whatever Simon was talking about.
Yeah,
Blackjack!
Yeah, I'm gonna try to take them off guard and intimidate them slightly, as I don't know what the, I guess, the as a woman in this era, being able to hold my own with these men at the table, is that uncommon, or
I
much
wouldn't
gold you
say
got?
so, but I would say that Wilden are probably out of the ordinary, and they'd probably like see you as like some sort of backwoods tree that probably doesn't know the paper in her hand from the paper on her arm, if you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like that you are probably being underestimated, but
Yeah.
for less your gender and more your race.
Okay.
Which doesn't make it better.
No. No. Okay. Yeah. So I'm gonna try to do a soft intimidation, not an aggressive intimidation.
All right. Okay. I'll accept this.
It's a 25, baby.
It's another success.
Hell yeah. You guys get an insight into her in this, as she, if you are paying close enough attention, she is weaving her words in a way that is slightly dangerous. She knows how to talk, and she knows how to play to her strengths, and cut into those who would think that she is just a stupid tree.
Yeah, Thorny Toad is eating it up. He thinks he's just got good company. All right, that's Ruth.
So Ruth,
Mr. Carruthers.
I think he's gonna try. Because question, for each round that goes by, are we making a generalized pot, or is this like a for friends game? Because we don't know each other. Like, how much money are we talking about playing for here?
Oh, as each round goes by, this pile is getting higher and higher.
Okay. Sounds good. I think
it is more gold than you have on your person by this point.
I would like to roll a stealth check to possibly shortchange the pot a little bit.
Okay.
Because
remind me,
gold's flowing and people are constantly pushing gold out, pulling gold back. Like, who's to say
right.
if you don't go missing?
We don't have sleight of hand in this edition, do we?
We don't. We have either bluff or stealth.
Or thievery.
But I'm trained in stealth.
I see. I'll let you swing it.
Okay. 25.
Where are all these 25s coming from?
Look, Roll20 had to be cool about one system, and apparently it's 4th edition.
Apparently.
I'll tell you what.
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
I was built for this.
Is roll 20 just me?
Roll 20
Hey,
looking
kid.
at 4th edition. It was made.
Hey.
It was made for me.
Knowing now that there might be some law hijinks, I'm going to insight check every single hand that's coming out.
All right, cool. All right.
That's a 19.
Believe it or not, that's a success.
Oh my god.
Yeah. You're able to put together that Carruthers is doing some shortchanging over there. Not
I
putting
ain't gonna say
down
shit.
quite as much gold as he should be.
Other than that, nothing.
Nope. It seems that Thorny Toe Jim loves a fair game.
Oh, that's nice of him.
All right. As the third round rolls around, Thorny Toe Jim has started to like sweat. He's still smiling. It's almost manic at this point. But he's taken off his hat, like he's unbuttoned his shirt a little bit, rolled up the sleeves, like he keeps on like he does that thing where like he he's got long legs. He puts his foot up on his chair and he's doing like the foot wiggle. What's it called when you
The
got
tip
like
tap.
you're doing the tip. He's doing the tip tap, but like up on his chair. So he's got like his knee like up here next to his elbow, and he's just like peering over his cards with big wide eyes. Finally, he reaches into his jacket and he puts the wanted poster rolled up on top of that pile of gold, and he says, "All or nothing." So we get back up at the top of the round with Trisannas.
This is a question for you, Danae. I can see spirits.
Mm-hmm.
Could I invoke them to help me cheat?
Absolutely.
All right. How do you
How do?
how
Okay.
would I do this? Would it be because it's not like it's just an innate thing.
Right. Well, I think that the closest skill that you could roll for this would be nature, unless you could swing a different skill for me, maybe persuasion
Okay.
or
That makes sense for my
or even arcana. But
Mhm.
like nature, it sounds like nature to me for your class.
That makes sense. Yeah, I'll do that. So, Triss kind of takes her cards for this hand, folds them out, and anyone who's paying close attention sees her looking at her cards and looking past them to beyond the table. And she's kind of paying attention to something back there for a moment and then glances back to her cards. So 29, baby.
Oh.
Nature's the one. I was like, I don't know how I can swing rolling nature, but I didn't have to.
Do you have any like particular spirits that hang around, or just, like whichever spirits are present just kind of take a liking to you?
I think if she acknowledges them, they take a liking to her as like being able to be seen and in that state is, or like having an understanding that like I could do something for you because I can understand. It's like what's the one with the ghost whisperer lady?
Movie?
What's her name?
The
No,
Ghost
it's a
Whisperer,
TV show.
the TV series.
Is it called Ghost
It
Whisperer?
was just called The Ghost Whisperer.
Yeah, it's a lot of that. Like people are like, "Wait, you can see me? I have a thing you have to do."
Yeah.
Please tell my wife that the key is in the coat pocket.
Got it. All right.
Tell my friend to burn my computer.
So I imagine that like you kind of like look up, sort of get the attention of a spirit, just sort of like by giving them eyes. And a young fella turns around. He's got a gunshot wound that's like through half of his head. And like with one eye, he looks over Thorny Toad Jim's card. Yeah, and then like, gives you a sign of like what his hand is. And then like
There
gives you
is
a
a
thumbs up
small
like
head
good luck.
nod. Thank you. I'll also go all in. Thank you.
All right, Ruth. You are silent.
this is going to be a question of an ask. I would
Okay.
like to fold my hand, but still succeed on the skill check. So I would like to roll an endurance to make sure that I have, like, basically, like, I don't care about the wanted poster. Legitimately. That's not my bag at all. So I am more rolling to see, like, okay, do I have, like, monetarily, do I have to go all in to be able to eat? Or
No.
do I have enough? If I have enough, and, like, I'm gonna fold. I don't want that.
Yeah. By like assuming you succeed at this skill challenge, I'm not gonna penalize you for any gold that you have in your inventory currently. Yeah, you can stomach it.
No, I can't.
All right.
It turns out that as I'm making this thought, there is a deep grumbly in my tummy. And, you know, some of that gold, that's got to turn to magic. Some of that gold, that's got to turn to food, housing. I could change some lives with the amount that's on this table right now. So.
I see.
Yeah.
All right. Well, kid, that just leaves you.
Oh boy, I am only great at a couple of things. And most of them physical in nature.
Yeah, sure enough. But since nobody rolled Arcana before you, or you
Arcana
previous
again.
to this round, you could roll Arcana again. Yes.
Good. Okay. Man, that would cause some trouble, wouldn't it?
What would? What would cause some trouble, friend?
I'm gonna roll a bluff.
Ooh. Okay, what are you bluffing exactly?
That his hand is a lot worse than it actually is.
I see. Okay.
5.
Oh my god. All right.
He's actually gonna, like, throw the cards away and say, meh, not this one.
All right. Cards are revealed. And it is a resounding point that Triss has absolutely won the pot.
Oh, my lucky day. Thank you very much. If you don't mind, I'd like to buy a drink for the table. She pulls all of it into herself.
Can I?
Thorny Toad.
Sorry.
Yeah. Go. What's that?
I was like, as soon as she had swiped the gold, Kid's eyes are going up to the minions around to make sure that they aren't pulling anything.
You may notice that the piano has gotten a little bit slower. You can see that the piano player's turned around and starting to look to Thorny Toad. The billiards players are kind of like, stepping back from the table, holding their sticks just to see how this turns out. You offer to buy a round for the table. Thorny Toad Jim keeps on looking back and forth between everybody's cards. He like flips through the deck. He starts running his hands through his hair. And you go ahead to order a round for the table.
Yes. Excuse me, could I get a round for my friends? And perhaps some snackins, if you have any. I heard the tummy rumbling.
Oh, bless. Those drinks start making their way over, and Thorny Toad finally slams his fist down on the table and he says, "Do you know each other?"
No, I don't believe
like together individually.
What kind of racket are you pulling here? You were sharing cards under the table, I know it.
Them's mighty tall words, friend.
And he stands up and shows you exactly how tall he is.
Oh. I see.
No.
Kid has kicked his feet up onto the poker table and just lowered his hat over his face. This is gonna get ugly.
Now, Mr. Toad Jim, I know you don't know me very well, but you need to understand something. I play straight and fair. And as you said, we'll see where the cards lay. And as you can see, they are laying where they are.
I don't
Now,
think you lay or do nothing straight.
Well,
she kind of
Thorny Toad
stands
Jim
up.
doesn't abide cheaters. And you can hear like chairs start to squeak back as people stand up and start converging on the table a bit. I think it's about time we go on break, and after we get back, we're gonna roll for initiative.
That sounds like a perfect conjoining of events. We are going to be back in 5 to 10 minutes. Don't go to a place unless it's to grab a food, grab a drink, grab a friend, or possibly go to indooradventure.redbubble.com. Pick yourself up something nice. We'll see you guys shortly. Yeehaw! Let's go! And we're back. Hello, everybody. Look away from the man behind the screen. Just kidding. We're doing our best to try and bring to you a Roll20 experience here at Indoor Adventure. So, with that being said, hey, Wings, scary. There's a lot of guys.
Yeah, howdy, y'all.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, let's just see how a combat goes in 4th edition. Maybe this is too much for you. Unless...
What?
Unless?
We just played level 20 characters today. This is gonna be fun.
Oh, well, okay, yeah. Hopefully this won't be too complicated for us. All right, so Thorny Toad Jim seems to have called in all the toads, and they are converging on you. There is no less than 8 folks here, starting with the bartender, actually. He's gonna cartwheel over the bar, and he's all like, "I'm coming, Thorny Toad Jim!" And he's gonna just keep on cartwheeling, actually, until his boot connects with Kid's face, hopefully.
I didn't even do nothing.
Does a 15 hit your AC?
It does not.
All right. He's gonna miss, which is unfortunate for him. But what is fortunate for him is that as a part of his cheap shot attack, he is shifting during this movement, so he can just move back without provoking an attack of opportunity. In fact, I think he's gonna scoot over here next to Thorny Toad Jim, and he's like, "I got your back!" Likewise, the pianist
The what?
is the pianist.
Ah.
Yeah. Is gonna stand up, pick up his stool and smash it against the table next to him, and it goes, "Yeah, salute fight!" And he's gonna start running over here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He's just gonna double move so that he's over here next to his boss. And then the third fellow is gonna come over here, and likewise he's gonna try and punt that old man in the rear end.
Bunch of haters.
24 versus your AC?
Just barely.
3 damage, my friend.
What a dick.
And 1, 2, 3. As he goes and runs over next to his boss. Kid, it is you next in the initiative.
Oh, boy, I'm gonna make myself some mechanical T-Rexes and have them pull me apart. Oh, boy. How many? 4 dudes there?
Mm-hmm. 4 fellas, all in a little square. Right next to you.
Perfect. I have abilities for this. I'm sorry. I should have came out here swinging.
That's A-okay. Brand new system. Take your time trying to figure out what you're going to do next. Just make sure that it's spectacular and you describe it in immaculate detail.
There are no attack of opportunities in this game? Or yeah?
There is attacks of opportunity. It's just that these specific guys, when they attack,
have an ability
to shift during their entire movement.
And shifting 5 feet. What
Yes.
action would that constitute as?
That's how
It's
how
just
do you
movement.
mean?
Like
Yeah, it's just a move action.
It's just a
Yep.
move action. Okay. If I move there, blah, 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 blah. All right. Well, let's get this over
I
with.
mean, it depends on what that shifting is coming from, but typically a shift is a move action, yes.
From actually, you know what? I'm going to use my action to activate my sword bond.
Okay.
Which is I can summon my weapon to me.
Okay.
And it looks like Kit raises a hand, and what looks like a wrapped parcel drops into it, and he pulls a cord around it, and it's this sterling grand rifle.
Oh, okay. I thought for a second that it was going to be a chainsaw.
Dun, 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 dun. So that was my action. Attacking is an action? Is a standard.
Yeah. Typically, yes. So
Okay.
you've got a standard action, a minor action, and a move.
And my minor actions could be used for things like at will stuff, essentially.
Typically, an at will tell you whether it's a standard or a
Oh,
minor
okay,
or a
okay.
move.
So
It can
all
be
of
anything.
these. That what does this do? I'm still reading. Well, until my next turn. Okay. Yeah. There's no way to try and disengage myself, is there?
You can shift as a move action, but you can only move one square.
Okay. I'll move over this way towards Ruth. And that'll be my turn, leveling the rifle to the nearest person.
Got it. All right. On initiative of 15, another thorny toad is gonna come running up and is gonna try and sock Trisannas in the jaw. 17 versus AC.
That does hit.
All right. That's gonna be 3 damage.
Okay.
And he will continue his shift. 1, 2, 3 towards his boss. Trisannas, it is your turn.
Trisannas takes the hit. You hear like a crunch as the bark skin cracks a little bit, and the black underneath is more prominent in that area. And she just kind of like slowly looks up at the group and says, "Oh, that was unwise." She pulls up her silver and white rifle and takes aim at Mr. Toad, and she is going to use her ability. Um, what is it? I pulled it up on here. Rhyme Strike, which is here. And I'm gonna. So that is going to hit. So it is. Or I'm sorry. It's going to attack one creature.
Mm-hmm.
And then it. The attacked creature, a zone of difficult terrain and a burst of 1 centered on the target. The zone
Okay.
lasts until the end of the encounter. Any
Oh,
creature
dang.
that enters the zone or starts there takes 5 cold damage,
All right.
and then I can dismiss it.
What is the size of this zone?
1 burst 1 centered on the target.
Okay.
That's just 1 square, right?
That is a 3x3 square. So a burst has it starts at the center, and then whatever number it is goes out in
That many squares.
to all adjacent squares by a multitude of that number.
So
I see what you're saying. So
it would be a
hits the
3x3
middle, and
square.
then I got
Goes
you.
out.
I got
everything
you.
around it, yeah.
That's what I was hoping.
Splash
So,
rules.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So let's Rhyme Strike
and this is an effect that happens regardless.
Yes.
Who are you attacking?
I'm attacking Mr. Toad.
Mr. Toad.
He seems to be in the center of all these gentlemen. Seems
that-
only fair.
That very much tracks. All right. Well, first of all, let me resolve this difficult terrain situation. But something is going to happen as a reaction to this.
Okay.
Y'all see that blue square there?
Yes, I
Good
do.
shift.
All right. That there is going to be our zone. All right, and that's difficult terrain, yes?
Mm-hmm.
And any creature that enters that zone or starts their turn there and takes 5 cold. Ooh, very exciting.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
It's one of my big moves.
It is. It's your daily, I believe.
Mm-hmm. It is.
Okay. You let me double check his defenses. Oh yeah, that would totally hit. So as a reaction to this activates his lead from the rear ability. As one of the fellas next to him goes, "Look out, Mr. Jam!" And leaps into the way of that attack, and goes spinning off.
Oh shit!
As this attack immediately takes them down.
Well, that was quite the cowardly move.
Jim did nothing in this situation. It was 100% on his guy.
All right, that's fair. That's fair.
All right, anything else for you, my friend?
I think that's every. What's this down here at the bottom? Is that stairs?
I think that's stairs. Yep.
Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and my movement is
6.
6. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4.
We don't work in feet in in
Right.
4E. We work in squares, so it's 6 squares.
All right, I'm gonna move to the bottom of the stairs so I can get a better area.
And block off any potential escape.
Correct.
Okay. All right. Anything else for oh, that's good for you. All right. This fella right here is gonna start making his way over. He's gonna have to double move to get close. I will allow him to pause here next to Ruthie. Next fella is going to scramble up and over the billiards table, and likewise also start making his way over here. Thorny Toe Jim, on his turn, is going to take 5 cold damage from this here rhyme. Covered in a thick icy rime. He's gonna go brrr, and then he's going to leap across the table and try and grab Kid, I think. Oh, 7's not gonna hit your reflex, is it?
No.
Unfortunate. All right. He leaps across the table and you duck, and he just sort of like scrambles onto the floor. And he stands up and points in your face and said, "Get him!"
I didn't do nothing!
There's the sound of shuffling boots as more fellas begin to advance on you. 23 to hit.
Yeah, that is a hit.
All right, 3 damage, and this guy is gonna go hang out next to his bouse, and this guy is gonna 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, he can get up to Carruthers. 10 is not gonna hit Carruthers, I don't think.
That is correct.
And speaking of Carruthers, I believe it is your turn.
Oh, Christ. Okay. So, a burst is centered around me, correct?
If it is centered on yourself, then it would be every square adjacent to you.
Okay. It just says burst 1.
Yeah, it probably is referring to you then.
Sounds good. So it is every enemy that is in a burst around me. So I have 3 enemies. And this is going to be my Dire Wolverine Strike, which is an encounter power. And I think as these enemies get near him, he was very much like, no, I don't want to do this. Yeah, you don't want to do this. Let's think about this rationally. But as soon as somebody hits him for 3 points of damage, okay, this is how you want to fucking play. Let's go. And he's just gonna whip out. You see a hatchet and a dagger, and he's just gonna go to fucking town on this.
Okay.
So he is slashing out wildly at everyone. So it's a 19 versus AC.
Mm-hmm.
And if that hits, that is 9 damage.
That is 3 outlaws on the ground.
Ah! He's just covered in blood and or actually, I don't think he's covered in blood. I think he's doing these as non-lethal. I would like to believe.
That sounds nice, counting on the fact that they were going at you with fists and boots.
Yeah, he's just gonna knock, I think he's gonna knock him out, but it's gonna be like a Three Stooges level knockout. Where he hits one and then they careen into the other and then a bucket falls and hits the third guy.
Right. Bonk him on the head, trip him over. It's saloon fighting time.
Yeah. So yeah, that is his goal. So he has taken out those 3 surrounding him.
Yeah, well dang. All right.
Wait.
At the beginning,
sorry, I have a movement, right?
Yes, you may move if you wish.
I don't want to be here. This seems bad. So I am going to use my movement. Trying to find where it is.
Your
Speed
movement
is 6.
should be 6. Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm getting the hell out of there.
Fair enough. Doesn't seem like there's anybody there who could provoke an attack of opportunity on you. So there you go. Carruthers skitters across the room. Axe and dagger drawn. Off he goes. All right. At the beginning of these 3 Thorny Toad outlaws turns, they're going to take that cold damage and they're going to go down.
2 of them. Right? Oh, no. Yeah, that's all 3 whoops.
Yep. It's all 3 of them. It's chilly, y'all.
Fucking windy.
1, 2, 3. Actually, that one doesn't go down quite yet. But he will on his turn. Kid, it's your turn.
I'm going to activate my Genasi power, Promise of Storm.
Ooh.
It's a minor action, and it allows me to deal extra thunder or lightning damage. 8 extra thunder or lightning damage if I hit.
Nice.
I'm going to cast Booming Blade on Boss Toad.
Bokai.
Which is thunder damage.
Bokai.
That's the wrong button. Does a 14 hit?
Let me double check his defenses. My good friend, a 14 will hit.
So he's taking 8 and 5 is 13 damage.
Oh, you know what? I think the friend next to him is gonna say, "Look out, boss!" and leap in the way.
What this looks like is, as he's saying, "Look out, boss," Kid has aimed the rifle towards Boss Toad, but he flips it butt end and pulls the trigger so that the butt end impacts onto the toadie's face. And he grabs the gun barrel and wields it like a great sword.
Incredible.
I'm going to use an action point to take another turn.
Okay, then. You can use an action point to use one additional action on your turn.
Right. I didn't use my movement yet, so I'm going to step up to Boss Toad.
Feel free.
And Booming Blade him again.
Boss Toad finds himself without allies nearby and without a reaction.
Actually, what deals more damage? Yeah. Okay, here we go. Does Promise of Storm... Until the end of my next turn, all my attacks that deal thunder or lightning damage deal an additional 8. Okay. 14.
14 to hit?
Yeah, 14 to hit for 14 plus 8, 22 points of damage. And if he moves, he takes an additional d6 plus 8.
22 total?
Yeah.
Okay. This guy is bloodied and looking rather harmed. You said that if he moves,
He takes
before...
an additional d6 plus 8 damage if he moves.
Okay. I have added a marker to him to remind us of that. I may have to ask you again what exactly that means. Thorny Toad Outlaw gets real cold. Trisannas. It's all you, friend.
Figure out what kind of person Triss is. I feel like she's vengeful. I just want to shoot him. But no. I'm trying to make friends. She is going to level her gun from the stairs towards Mr. Jim, and she's gonna
Okay.
and she's gonna say, begging your pardon, Mr. Toad Jim, but it seems you're in a bit of a predicament here. I suggest that we all take a moment and put our arms down. That way at least some of us can walk away from this. Meaning you.
Thorny Toads fight to the last man.
All right. All right, I'm gonna shoot him.
All right.
I think I'm just gonna hit him with my basic ranged attack. I don't need to really do anything else here.
All right.
All right.
Oof.
That's a 20 versus AC, 11 damage.
That'll certainly hit, and it'll certainly take him down.
She
Here I was
flips her
worried about
gun.
you guys.
She flips her gun onto her back and like straps it down and just says, "Well, I did try." Slowly click clack as she walks down the stairs and back onto the floor. Walks over to Ruth and says, "Are you all right, honey?"
I'm all right. You didn't have to do that.
I'm sorry, which part?
Points to Thorny Toad Jim, who's bleeding out.
As you do that, you see that he's lying on the ground, sort of nursing a wound, and he raises a fist to the sky and he says, "This ain't the last you seen of Thorny Toad Jim!"
Oh, never
and then
mind.
do
He'll
that
be
if I
fine.
were you.
Explodes into gold coins.
Oh, shit!
Oh.
Oh!
Kid has pulled out a cigarette and is smoking in the bar. He's reached over the bar counter and is rummaging around for more booze.
I'm gonna start collecting those gold coins.
Yeah, Triss gets her winnings from the table, and then heads over to Kid and says, I'm terribly sorry for the predicament I placed you gentlemen in. Might I make it up to you in some way? Maybe she looks around, a drink perhaps somewhere else.
He'll flick the brim of his hat up. Maybe some dinner, we'll call it even.
Looks to Ruth.
I got a train car if you don't mind sharing.
Well, that sounds lovely. She grabs a bottle from the back, places it in her bag. Well, are you gentlemen off to somewhere specific, or?
The only place that I think I'm going to be heading is away from here. Now, follow along. Let's make haste. He seems like... What do I know about people who explode into gold? Is this a common occurrence?
Is this a Scott Pilgrim?
Yes, actually. It's very
Okay.
much a Scott Pilgrim. If you defeat somebody who's imbued with law in battle, they will often just explode into the gold that they have on them.
Cool. Do they
it-
come
it
back
is-
anywhere else, or are they just
Sometimes,
like explode? Oh.
sometimes if they have a strong heart, a strong will, oftentimes those imbued with law will reappear very much depowered, but they will reappear somewhere in the world.
That's
They
incredible. Okay.
respawn.
Essentially, yes.
Their
As
sleeping
they
area.
walk past the piles of bodies, Kid will help Triss over one of them and then just continue on his way.
They are all like but after Thorny Toad Jim went, they are all like individually popping into like small piles of coins.
We really shouldn't
Oh, we
leave
should-
that around.
That'd be
That's
a
No,
waste.
I
evidence.
absolutely agree. Yes, that's so collective.
Everyone's just like gathering them up.
Wait, I got an idea. Hops behind the bar, grabs a broom, starts sweeping the coins into a sack.
Big old bag.
We'll sort the bits later.
We can divide it
you
into
s-
3 and sell off anything that didn't explode.
Of course. You see Triss stepping off to the side for a moment, and she seems to be addressing someone very quietly, and she's thanking the ghost who helped her in the game of cards. And then walks back to the rest and says, well, shall we then?
Ruth is like stuffing some into his pockets. Whenever you're ready.
I think
as
I'm
you're-
quite ready.
Scooping up these piles of gold coins, specifically on Thorny Toad Jim's pile, you'll like scoop up some of them coins, and you'll find that like you actually brush up against what appears to be his leather jacket, and you recognize that this is a law-imbued magic item.
Ooh, gotta hold on to that. Maybe get rid of some of them little pokey guys that are along the sleeves. Don't need the guilt by association.
You will also find a weapon in that pile.
Ooh.
I'll say an axe, probably an axe.
Okay.
I can share with y'all what you have discovered.
I love golden axe.
Sweet loot.
Yeah, it's precisely what you're getting.
Sweet coins.
You get a level 2 luring withdrawal armor. And you get a level 4 battle crazed axe.
What the fuck are these words?
What are these
As-
prefixes?
As
I'm
well
sorry,
as
one more time. Level 2.
I've placed them in the group
Oh,
chat.
okay.
As well as 720 gold pieces.
Whoa, shit!
Holy shit.
4th edition, number get big.
Oh my god,
Get
yeah.
big!
Yeah, no. Look at luring withdrawal jacket. 520 GP.
240 apiece. Holy hell.
God.
So a thing or two for our audience. In the ramble, you have heard us mention law and the power of gold for a few times now. That's on account of the fact that in this world, gold is power, literally. It is what powers magic in this world. And specifically, all of our players' characters are people who are quote unquote imbued with law, and they have the ability to weave gold into magic items and to turn magic items into gold. This being the norm, this being the case in the ramble, it has created something of a free for all. People who are imbued with law very much want gold, and they very much want each other's gold, because it translates directly into powerful items such as this.
Okay. So
Hot
there's
damn.
1 armor and 1 weapon and then 720 GP.
Mhm.
Indeed.
Okay.
Did I get more for the game? Not to-
You you guys can split it up at however much you
Mhm.
wish. I'm not going to. The
Okay.
party itself gets 720 gold pieces
Okay.
in this encounter.
And one wanted
And
poster.
one wanted poster. I am willing to describe it in such a moment that you guys feel ready to receive that information.
Yeah.
right.
We're gonna get the yuck out of here, right?
Yeah.
Yuck.
That's fair. I thought I heard Carruthers say that he was going to lead y'all to a safe place.
Yeah. An old
Would
train
you like to describe
car.
this place for me?
Yeah, so I imagine that Carruthers, he stays at an abandoned train car, or at least something similar. Carruthers knows that trains are real. Other folk, you know, who knows if people believe trains are real. Anyways, it is a rusted fire engine red, like wooden panels on the sides, more of like a freight car, if anything. He does not sleep in this place alone, because he does not necessarily have a place in particular that he lives, other than places that have not kicked him out yet. That being said, I think that as far as he knows, the other inhabitants of the train car are occupied this evening, and he has a can of beans he's been waiting to crack open for just such an occasion.
Yum.
Yum.
Bushes.
Triss acknowledges something in the corner and takes a seat, very finely with her legs kind of crossed at the ankles, but very comfortable sitting on the ground.
By the way, in all of the ruckus, miss, we didn't quite catch your name.
You can call me Triss. All my friends do. And you are? And she offers her hand.
Kid, enchanté. And he'll take it and kiss the knuckles lightly before letting it drop.
The name is Carruthers Edelweiss, and he'll undo his hat again, takes your hand. Ruth, to my friends, if we're going by such friendly names. And then hand the hand back.
Thank you. Well, again, I am terribly sorry for getting you in that mess. I didn't intend for it to go that way, but such is the way of life out here, it seems.
Have you not been out here long, Miss Triss?
Not here personally, no. I've been traveling with others for a while, but I did grow up for the most part in the forest, and she kind of motions to herself. In the wilds.
Yeah, I didn't want to bring up anything about your current persuasions.
What do you mean by that?
You look quite unique.
Oh,
Well, that's
thank
awful
you.
rude.
Oh, I take it as a compliment. Thank you.
It's not like I said you looked any different. Unique.
No, I'm not from around here, as you can tell. But I have been traveling for quite some time and been around others than my kin for a while, and I find people outside of Wildlands to be quite interesting.
Now, Miss Trisannas, may I call you Triss?
Of course.
I do want to apologize for participating in the ruckus that occurred around you, but obviously I could not let someone such as yourself suffer such blows. That being said, I have a question that only you know the answer to.
Of course.
What is a beautiful thing such as yourself doing looking for a wanted poster?
Oh, well. We all have our secrets, but I don't think it's any big one that there are people out there that need capturing, and the call did go out, and I'm a very capable individual, though not so capable on my own as not to ask for help, that I've thought it might be a good idea to start maybe going on a journey to find one of these wanted men.
What do you hope to accomplish with that?
Now that is a secret. Nothing nefarious, of course. I am a creature of the wilds, and, well, I guess I just want to make sure they're safe any way I can.
Carruthers feels unease at this response.
Well, I've told you a little bit about myself. What are your goals out on this wild west that we have here?
Kid will look over to Ruth to see if he'll start yammering.
Ruth has this look on his face, just like, don't do it. I don't know it. But at the same time, I would say, I don't know, make an insight check.
Whom? Me?
Yeah, you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Whoever's looking for it.
A 10.
A 10? The look that Ruth is giving you could be, maybe we shouldn't, but it also could be, maybe we should.
Maybe I might be constipated from these beans.
He's giving you this look where it's like, I should see a dentist. Slash
rich.
barber
Just-
slash veterinarian
Slash
It's
bone
probably-
saw.
It's
Yeah.
probably a barber about this time.
Cobbler. To get at that treasure like everybody else. You're muted. Like local mute, not Zoom mute.
Oh, what? What do
There
mean
you go.
local
There
mute?
you're
Well, that's just as fair as a reason as anybody else, I think. And I do think we work very well together, if I might say so myself. I have been alone for quite some time. If you're looking for a companion,
There's
I have
a
many things to offer.
small crack in the corner of Kid's mouth. Well, Ruth did tell me that we should be on the lookout for more people for the posse.
Ruth would otherwise say something, but hearing Triss describe herself as lonely, I think he keeps his mouth shut.
Of course, I wouldn't want to pressure you into anything. I
No,
can
I'll
find my way.
line. We work very well hand in hand. I think this would be a mutually beneficial partnership between the three of us.
If I'm leading the two of you to the Palisades, I have one condition. The two of you listen to what I say. If it's too dangerous, we don't go. I've been to the Palisades before. One time.
Well, if Daddy Cook said anything, it was never trust a man who grows old in a young man's profession. So I will follow your example.
You'll be better for it.
Triss looks over to the corner of the car again, making contact with a spirit that has occupied this space. I want to gauge their trust in Ruth. She just wants to make sure he's not a crazy old git.
Okay. I'm willing to rule this as either an insight check or a nature check, considering that you're communing with a spirit.
Mm-hmm. I mean, nature would be...
Commune!
Commune!
A 29.
God dang.
Numbers get big.
Number too big.
Line go up.
This is at level 1.
To be fair, I do have plus 11, and I rolled really well.
Yeah, but you didn't have to be a rogue to do that.
That's fair. That's
Or a
fair.
bard.
Simon, what do you reckon this spirit is that has witnessed Ruth in this here train car for some time?
It's one of Ruth's former roommates. They didn't make it through a winter. They know that Ruth shared food with them. He shared warmth with them when they needed it most. And unlike the others, he gave a shit when they passed on. He was the only one who gave them a proper burial.
You see Triss give a small nod and say, Ruth, I believe I might be able to trust you with my life.
That trust might
death.
go a little far, but at the same time, I appreciate the sentiment.
Well, we've come into a bit of coin, and as much as I do love these beans, are they soaked in some sort of broth?
One does not ask where the beans came from, let alone where the beans have sat. If they are beans true. That being said, we got horse money. We can at least get one pack animal. If we get a donkey, it's something mighty strong, good for rocks later on. Maybe a little short in stature, but that's never been a problem. Nobody know how.
I will say, as folks that are imbued with law, you can consolidate your gold into an item. Lawmen normally consolidate it into their sheriff's badge, or deputy badge, as it were. But I don't think y'all are lawmen, per se. In this world, if you do not work for the government, you are considered an outlaw.
Domino masks.
I
The
don't
Bandit
know how
King.
well that would hide me.
Bandit King.
Bandit King.
Bandit King.
Oh, why'd I let go of the rock?
That being said, consolidating funds ain't a bad idea. I have something on hand we could consolidate the value of our gifts into, and no one would be none the wiser. And he makes eyes towards the empty can of beans.
I was about to say, is it the can of beans, motherfucker?
Gilded bean can.
Yeah, I think you were on to the right idea with some sort of transportation. Having some, as long as we treat it right, of course.
Horse and cart money, that's... Horse and cart money is what we have, was what I was going to say before I stumbled.
That is, it is interesting that y'all bring up the idea of transportation and are sitting in an abandoned rail car. You all would know that the rails have not run for the public in years. Horse and cart money is going to be quite the boon going forward.
Could we use our gold and imbue this rail car to
With an
make it
engine.
a real car?
That's very interesting.
That's
kinda
a game
like that
called
idea.
Eastward.
I'm pretty sure that's Final Fantasy V, and we need a monk to suplex this thing.
I kind of like that idea. Give me a moment just to
Okay.
research what is available in terms of
Shall we riff among ourselves for the time being?
20 gold pieces would get you something that could run on the rails. And with your abilities, you could just dust it again back into gold after you're done using it.
Oh, crap.
Oh shit!
20 gold? Let's do it, man.
Actually, that's hella dope,
That's
though.
super cheap. This is
Welcome
like,
to Gold
an
Rush.
Uber is more expensive. Let's fucking do this.
All right. Who would be the one to go about this?
Good
I would
offer.
say Ruth probably because this is
It's his home.
train car.
Well, I also have the highest Arcana check for, like, if this requires that sort of check.
Look, if you want to spell jam this, like, you are the guide. I will trust you. I'm just saying this is my home otherwise.
It's your home, yeah. So,
But if you're better at it, I'll trust you with my home. Fuck it. Like, pop off.
I mean, this. I suppose since this isn't an actual magic item with stats and everything, yeah, okay, I'll go ahead and let this be a skill check just to see how well it turns out.
okay.
Arcana?
Arcana.
14? All right, that's all right.
Oh, what was the sound? It was like a bird, a big bird, winged stork, a menaphis. That's a mummy's joke.
Okay. Like Brendan Fraser's mummy?
Like Brendan
or...
Fraser mummy. I will talk about it in the
Oh.
after show.
Okay, yeah, Nice in the Courtyard. It's been a while since I said that. Gosh,
feels
it's been
good,
too long
don't
since
it?
I've been here. Ah, sure does.
Ye and dare I say ha, Danae.
Ye and there, ye.
Yeah.
Okay. So, kid, gold in one hand, hand on the cart. You invoke whatever grasp you have over Arcana and Law. In this world, the two are the same. And the entirety of the cart begins to sort of shudder. And you watch as the gold begins to sort of like disintegrate and disappear from his hand, travel into his veins, and glowing.
At
sort
that
of
point, Kid opens his eyes and the gold light starts flooding out and like hyper scanning the boxcar.
His body is embroidered with gold for a moment. And then that embroidery travels up his arm, across his chest, across his other arm, and into the cart itself. The whole thing rattles, and the air smells of gold dust. And there finally, you see a apparatus begin to appear in the middle of the cart. And I'll say that like the front of the cart and the back of the cart sort of hollow themselves out. In fact, let's go like full like trolley car situation. There is a roof that's being held up, but there are windows all the way around so that you guys can see out. And in the middle of the room is an old-fashioned pump jack.
Sorry, that's as good as it's gonna get.
Ruth
For 20
sidles
gold,
up
that's
next
exactly
to
what
it.
you're gonna get.
Just... He's gonna start pumping away.
The car grinds to life and begins rolling along. Does anybody know what those things are called? It's the man-powered sort of...
Rail carts.
Yeah.
It's a rail cart?
Mm-hmm.
Rail cart top speed. Let's see.
They're called hand cars.
We used our money to create a lever system and like kind of expand the room that we're in. But other than that, we're Flintstoning it across the Wild
Hell
West.
yeah.
Fun fact, Googling railcart top speed gives you Minecraft facts.
This guy
Hand
fucking
car.
gets it.
That guy gets it.
I do like that everything's
Right, but how fast do
when
we
we
go?
curse, it mutes it.
It bleeps
on
it?
It bleeps it, yeah.
That's
30
pressure.
miles an hour, I think. That's
Dang.
what it's saying.
That can get going pretty fast.
That's for an average person, / 2 people operating it.
Nice. Where do you intend to go?
Well, Mr. Ruth, do you have any ideas where we should stop off first? Kid says as he's pumping.
Do I, GM?
Well, you have an item in your possession that might give you an idea.
Oh, shit.
Oh, yeah.
I think, he'll say, to the best of my knowledge, we're gonna be heading west for a while. That being said, if you need to make any kind of pit stop, I believe our dear friend Triss has quite a sidestep in mind.
Oh, and she pulls out the wanted poster and unreels it for herself.
Pumping, and Ruth is just hanging off the side of the pump.
But like when he presses down, like you feel like
yeah, Kid will push up too.
You unroll this bit of parchment. It's a humble bit of parchment, but as you move it, there is the glimmer of gold in what appears to be a handwritten note across the whole of it. I wouldn't mind reading it to you. My 4 treacherous deputies have trapped me behind the Palisade Mountains. Bring their badges to me on the Gold Coast, and all my riches, every last bit of gold I've gathered over the years, will be yours. Gold-Tooth Joe.
Left it all in one piece.
In one piece.
That's ridiculous. Why wouldn't you space it out? You know, just in case someone by chance is on accident.
After this long, I don't think that's possible.
Yeah, I don't.
You have this this bit of parchment unrolled. You kind of look at the other side of it. It's just, you know, just parchment. You kind of get the idea that there must be some sort of trick to this.
Okay. Excuse me, Mr. Kid. Would you mind using your special magic eyes to see if you can get a better view of this? I can take over.
He will step back, let the lady do their thing, and look at the parchment.
All right, give me an Arcana check.
That's Ruth. That's not Kid. No, that's wrong. This one. Wow, new sheets. 29. That's a natural 20.
Shit.
That means a lot.
Plethora.
You look at it with your ash Pokemon fox eyes. I imagine that they creak open a little bit so that you can get a good look at it.
Yeah.
As you you cast your eyes across this humble bit of parchment, you kind of get the feeling that it's looking back at you. And it's how do I describe it? It's a bit like how you felt the first time a rifle was put into your hands, and everyone watched as you took your first shot at a line of bottles. You're being observed, and your mettle is being weighed.
Tested.
Yeah.
Kid will go into a back pouch and pull out a bullet, and to the piece of parchment, he'll say, "Give me a name."
All right. You do that, and you almost feel like you almost hear the sound of like several bits of paper like rustling, being flipped like a book, and you see 4 faces go by very quickly before it settles on one. And it is a lady with very large hair, a very wide hat with flamboyant feather, and her hat is pulled down very low over her eyes. But there is an immaculate shock of lipstick applied to her mouth. underneath the face, it says wanted. It has a bounty with a number of gold. I need to look it up.
Lots.
It's a good heckin' number for sure. Yeah, 1,040 gold.
Fuck.
And the name is Ms. Sissy.
The name Miss Sissy appears on the side of the bullet.
Ooh, spooky. There's a little bit more information here. If you care to
You'll begin
read
to
it.
read to everyone.
It's got a little bit of a biopic on there. Ms. Sissy, it is said that she traveled for some time with Goldtooth Joe and the Compass Roves, but ultimately her heart longed for home, a little backwater town called Glimmer. She returned there and has not been seen since.
I mimicked your mouth movement, so it should sync up well on the video.
I saw that.
Glimmer. Do we know of Glimmer?
Yeah, you could pull out a map of the Ramble and have a look-see at where you are and where Glimmer is. Give me a check of some sort. I need to remember what all the
Nature?
skills are in 4E. I don't think they have survival just yet, right?
History?
Streetwise, nature, history.
Streetwise actually could count as far as cities go.
Mhm.
Yeah, I'm gonna say either streetwise, history, or nature, whichever you think would apply best for your character.
No, I'm pumping again. Oh my god.
Trisannas.
I can't miss with nature. That's
not even a nat
30.
20.
Not. It's a
Trisannas.
19.
I think that spirit that was vouching for Ruth before kind of comes over your shoulder, gives you a little tap, and then points at the map. He knows the rails very well. You realize that you're going the wrong direction. You actually need to head back east a little ways.
Sorry, gentlemen. We're gonna need to go the other way if we're gonna be going to Glimmer.
Yep. Pulls the brake.
Thank you kindly.
All right, so this time, instead of I push down, you push up, it's you push down, I push up.
Yep. I got that.
Okay.
All right, on 3.
3, 2, 1. We go on
Other
one.
direction.
Ow!
Oh.
This locomotive's idiot powered.
What's the name of this spirit?
Simon.
I will say that the name of the spirit is Enoch. Enoch.
Oh, that's a good one. Better than anything I would have come up with.
It's funnier than Enochian.
3-foot Willie.
Yeah? Yeah?
He's only 3 feet tall. Good night, everybody.
3-foot Willie the pianist?
Stop.
How long will it take us to get there?
At least a day's travel, I'd say.
All right. Well, it seems that we're about a day out. Is there a place along the way we could restock for food and stuff?
Yeah, the town we just came from.
We're new to town.
We just got in on the rail.
Yeah, I reckon that there is a town not far from here. It's called Happenstance. It has a little train station that you could roll into and probably be able to park without being in danger of the private express. It's not what it's called. It's a private train. And it runs only for the elites of the Ramble. And it probably only really runs once per day.
When the
Yeah.
money flows, the train will ride.
Essentially, yes.
Time of day wise, should we rest here and then get to the town tomorrow? Not happenstance, Glimmer.
I reckon that, yeah, you could rest in happenstance and then leave for Glimmer in the morning and make it there in good time. Glimmer doesn't really have a rail that goes through it. It's just not that big. But you can get pretty close to it before you need to abandon your cart.
Mm-hmm.
And when I say abandon your cart, I mean, take all the gold out of it and then just go.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, gentlemen, I propose that we make our way to Happenstance and maybe take a rest there and finish the rest of the journey tomorrow.
Sounded plain as any.
As long as we keep going the way.
Can't
But you
hang
muted, honey.
No, I shouldn't be. I think I
No,
was
you
just.
weren't.
Oh, maybe it was just
quiet.
intonation.
Yes. He just sort of says something along the lines of like, as long as y'all think this is safe.
Of course.
This
Plus,
is
I
safe.
owe y'all a dinner. Something proper. Warm your bellies.
Ooh. Warm tummy. Now we're talking.
I think as we're rolling down, Triss might start singing a song that Enoch has taught her. Just probably just echoing what they're singing on the rails.
I think that Ruth would sing along. Mm-hmm. Just like absent-mindedly, like he's probably heard this song many, many times.
It's like a call and response. It's
Yeah.
a two-parter.
Yeah. As we make our way.
Beautiful. You roll into happenstance. I think that you get a few stares as you roll into the train station. You're able to pull off to a side rail so that you're out of the way of any potential train that might roll through here. You see you see a fella come running out from what appears to be his house, and he's like quickly putting on like a conductor's hat. It seems that it's his job to like look after the rail, and he's just kind of like looking at you agog. Y'all new here?
I am, and do you happen to have a tailor in town? I seem to have torn my clothing, he says, wearing like 2-month-old shirt and rags.
He says, afraid I don't have a tailor, but I reckon the missus of the barber, she's got a sewing machine license, so she could probably get you set up.
I think I will. I'll catch you two in a minute. I think Ruth is just gonna go, I need to use the bathroom, and this was the easiest way to explain that. He's just gonna go and take care of it.
He's just like sort of like staring at you guys' vehicle, walking up and down, inspecting it, and a bit like if any of you have ever known somebody who has a fancy car, there are folks who will approach and be all like, "Oh, I gotta talk about your car."
Apologies for the intrusion.
Kid will offer an arm to Triss, and if anything, they'll walk to the not hotel, but inn.
An
inn.
Yep, that sounds about right.
That song you were singing.
Yeah.
Well, for one, you sing awfully nice.
Thank you.
But Ruthie also knew it too.
Yeah. I believe their friend I believe they sang it together.
I actually have something for this.
No?
I can't believe I didn't think of it before. This is perfect. It's called The Miner's Lament.
Aw.
And the chorus goes, "For a wink of light, a spark of hope, the bounty of the West, scrape the earth and use me up and lay me to my rest."
I believe they called it the Miner's Lament.
Hmm. Something doesn't sit right with Kid. It was only the three of them inside that cart.
Yeah.
Math lady gift, math lady gift. So you
Now,
said you've been around. Oh, sorry. I cut you
No,
off.
please.
No, I apologize.
Well, I was just going to ask if you had a preference when it comes to what types of food you eat.
Anything that fills the belly, honestly. For a stint of time, I was fed off of military rations, and that was not great.
I can't imagine. What types of food do they feed there?
Hardtack, jerky, some powdered thing that sometimes made the water orange.
Unnatural.
Tasted pretty good back then. Miss Ruth! Or do you want to do the sewing scene?
Oh, the sewing scene is like Ruth will come back or meet you all at
The inn.
the place of food, the inn, and it's very odds and ends. Like the holes are patched, like it was a solid red shirt. Now there's like a blue flannel. Like it's he didn't ask for new clothes. He asked for a short-term fix. But he's like looking like, hey, not
Well,
bad.
Mr. Ruth, you are looking mighty fine.
Oh, you are too kind. Now, that being said, are we staying in this fine establishment? Should we do the on what we got out there? So that way others don't come by to the place that
Oh, that's already
potentially-
done.
Incredible, fantastic. I'm sorry for asking. Now that being said, we sleeping here?
That would be fine.
Do you think? Now this is a fine ass. Do you think they have soap?
I'd hazard to guess they have some form of soap.
Ooh, those horses are getting company tonight. If I can just get some soap. Now I understand that I did not do very much in the interaction with our last individuals, with the Horny Toad Jim gang. I think they were just the Horny Toads. I'm not really sure. Now, that being said, if I could trouble some of y'all for enough for some soap, the horse trough right outside is plenty fine with me. I understand getting heated water.
Mr. Ruth, these places might have a bath, right? You could take a
I don't want
warmer...
to trouble anybody for more than my share of earnings,
I speak from personal experience. I think you're going to trouble more people bathing in the trough.
Do you
especially
ask
the horses?
Do you ask the innkeeper for some soap?
I thought we were outside doing
Explaining
this conversation.
this, or is this conversation just happening with the posse?
This is just with the posse.
Okay, carry on.
Yeah,
Sorry, I just making sure I didn't miss something.
It's okay.
Kid will gently extricate himself from Tris and just walk into the inn and talk with the innkeeper. Like, hey, we need 3 rooms, a couple of baths too, if you got it.
Sure thing. It's a sweet little old lady. She asks for your names and writes them down in her leisure. It's I'd say it's like a silver apiece for a night.
We earn so much, and yet this economy's so fucked.
Killing people is worth a lot.
So when you when you deal with the mundanes, those who are not imbued with law, um because you have access to so much gold, I'm willing to like Blades in the Dark sort of hand wave this
Mm-hmm.
in terms of that. I assume that you pay them. They are always paid, is the
Mm-hmm.
assumption. But you don't have to track it in your inventory.
Cool.
Kid will step outside and toss a bar of soap to Ruth with a room key.
For me?
Just for you, Ruth.
Why don't you go wash up, hon, and we'll make sure dinner's ready for you when you come out.
Nice hearty stew.
Maybe some whiskey.
I got the murder whiskey from
Look, whiskey,
Little ladder, Simon.
whiskey, and baths and delicious food only go so far. At this point, I'm just here for good conversation, but this will not go unappreciated. I appreciate you, and he will make his way. He's gonna take a bath. He's gonna be great. He's gonna stay in there way past the point that it's warm, if it's even warm.
Mm-hmm. And they'll draw you a nice big bath. You know, one of them like big wooden tubs. You know,
Yup.
and it's a luxurious bubbly bath by your standards. They like and Miss Marjorie Hill, which is the name of this sweet old lady, like every like half hour or so, she'll knock on the door and ask if you need more hot water, and she'll heat up a kettle and bring it in for you.
Oh. I think the longest he would stay in there would be an hour.
Mm-hmm.
I think to him that is luxurious.
Mm-hmm. Y'all have are served a delicious beef stew with some cornbread. And I think she even probably has a bottle of wine that she can pull out for you. You guys are big spenders. You're pretty high rollers in her eyes. So, she treats you right. At some point during the night, probably when she's serving you her famous cheesecake, um, she'll approach, I think, Triss. She's probably the most approachable of the three of you. And she has an envelope sort of tucked up against her chest as she approaches. And she says, I'm terribly sorry, miss. I just I I wonder if I have the right idea about you folks.
Well, you tell me what the idea is, I can tell you if it's right.
You um you came in on that contraption on the rail, and well, you do seem to throw around a mite bit of gold. You wouldn't happen to be outlaws, would you?
Oh, I think that is a very negative term.
Terribly sorry. Imbued with law? You're not lawmen. You'd have badges.
Right. Is there something you needed?
Well, she sort of like straightens out this envelope. It appears to be quite old. It's a little bit wrinkled. She says, "You wouldn't happen to be going west soon, would you?"
Why, yes, we would.
Oh, you see, my husband, he lives a fair bit west from here. If you aren't going to the town, could you at least pass this along? Um, I haven't seen him in a mite bit, a few years actually, and
Really?
I I'd very much like to get this letter to him, or at least closer along.
Of course. Do you know about where he is?
She'll give you the name of the
Mm-hmm.
town. And it's written in immaculate print on the front of it,
Mm.
the name and address and everything.
Yeah. I mean, she looks to the others to see if if they are amenable to this request.
Feeding us this good, I'll do anything for you, Miss Marge.
Thank you kindly. That just the mail hasn't run in so long. It's been a while since any of us have heard from kin out west.
Well, if we can push something along for you, we will.
Thank you so much. Here, have some more cheesecake.
Oh, uh, very kind of you. Thank you.
Miss Marge, may I trouble you for a wash basin if you have one?
Oh, well, I'll go clean out the one that Ruthie
No,
just vacated.
just a small one.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Very quickly, she can get you a nice wash basin and a fine glass pitcher with some water in it.
Oh, he's gonna take that basin and his rifle over his shoulder and just head outside. Don't wait up.
Well, it seems to be just you and I, Miss Ruth.
Tris, I don't know why my microphone is choosing to die. I think it might be Zoom.
Probably.
That, yeah, probably.
Zoom does this thing where it's like, you've been quiet for a while, so the next time you speak, we're not going to let you say anything.
Okay, how does this? Is this
Yeah.
better? Okay,
Yeah.
cool. So that being said, I think Ruth is going to say, what made you decide to go after bounties? I know you said that earlier that there were certain things that were off limits. Is this an off limits question for you?
Well, Miss Ruth, you are one of the most genuine people that I've met on my travels, and if your companion has said enough, I believe that me telling you would be in good spirit. I am a wildin. I'm a creature of the wilds, and well, many others are trying to encroach upon the wilds and make them their own, or take them over, destroy them in some way or another. I've been tasked to find ways to keep that from happening, and I've found that making friends and getting money is one of the best ways to do that. If you have influence, if you have coin, people listen.
It's understandable, and you're trying to make more people listen.
Yes.
I see. Yeah, I get it. It's something you really want to do.
I'm sorry?
Is this something you really want to do? There are other means, other ways that you can get what you need, and I'd be more than willing to help you do them.
Well, I've found in my travels with humanoids that this is the easiest and least resistant path. Using honey to catch flies, as it were.
Then can you do me a favor?
Of course.
Can you make sure that kid doesn't end up turning like you? You seem very set in your ways. Yeah, I understand that. Kid still has a chance. You didn't have to be like this.
What do you wish for him?
Same thing I'd wish for anybody. I'd wish for peace, Trisannas. To resolve this whole thing. That's why if Given the opportunity. And he motions towards the bounty. If it was me, something that those in Britannia or across the pond once thought of, which was an equal distribution of wealth. What's the point of one person holding on to everything in the world? Life is worth living. Life is for the people, and you can't be living when you're busy willing to die for something. Not that you shouldn't be willing to die for your ideals. However, if you're willing to die because you hate somebody, there's still a chance with Kid.
There's somebody that Kid hates.
It is said that they are the ones that know the location of the treasure.
I see. Mr. Ruth, are you asking me to keep Kid from seeking vengeance?
All I'm saying is that there is a light in him still. With us, not saying that there isn't. It's just a bit dimmer, don't you think?
You are very astute, as your friend has said. But you also have a kind heart. And I believe you when you say that this is what you truly want for him. If I can help, I will.
I would appreciate it. Now, this may be rude to ask. Who are you talking to?
On the call?
In the car? When we were at the table playing cards?
Well, you see, Mr. Ruth, I have a gift. I can see those that have passed on and speak to them in a way. They are all around us. And one very sweet person was on that train car. Taught me a song. They called themselves Enoch.
I see. Miss Triss, I see people around me as well. People who aren't there anymore. And I'm glad yours are helpful. Now, if you'll excuse me, I will be retiring to my room. Thank you for dinner.
My pleasure. This little man stands up.
Hops off his chair. You see the top of his head over the top.
He's all bow-legged. Sort of shuffles off. He's a little hunched over because he's been hunched over the panning pan, mining pan, you know, for gold.
Yep.
In the river. Kid, you wandered off with a wash basin. You have anything in mind for that?
He's gone outside, not too far away, and placed the wash basin lip down so the bottom's up.
Mm-hmm.
And he'll place his rifle on top of it. Rooting around a pocket, he pulls out a carton of cigarettes and taps one out before mouth, light, inhale, exhale a wisp of smoke. Hey there, Cook, Gunny, Sarge, Rook, Captain. It looks like I'm one more step towards what I need to do to get vengeance for y'all. First off, though, I'm gonna need to learn to shoot a little bit better because I got a bullet with a name on it, so that's fun. If you remember correctly, I told you about Ruth. I've paired up with him and Wildlin, if you could believe it. She's interesting. I feel like that's gonna be a running theme. Anyway, he'll uncork a bottle of moonshine that he took from the other tavern and pour it over his gun. And then drink a little bit. Killed 8 people today. Though it wasn't my own fault. Tris, the wildling lady I told y'all, cast some form of ice spell, and it kind of just... You know? Yeah, you know. Anyway, I'm turned in for the night. I hope you all can rest well. He'll wait for the gun to dry before picking it up and, like, waves the wash basin. Because it's soaked in booze now. He'll just walk back into the inn.
All right. The night passes uneventfully. I know it's a little bit early for us, but I think this is a good time to leave off for today.
Well, with that being said, Danae, thank you so much for running this game. This has been a blast. 4th edition is fun. Wild. I didn't think I'd say that 10 years ago. Anyways, hey, Danae, where can we find you? What do you do?
Oh, shoot. Well, you can find me at DanaeKeener.com. I do nerdy drawings mostly related to D&D and a lot of things on this channel. Yeah. There. DanaeKeener.com.
Hey everybody, my name's RJ, and you can catch me RJustice on Twitter, Twitch, most of the social medias. I'm in a bunch of things coming up this month. Oh, crud. This week on Wednesday, I'm playing Kids on Bikes over on D5 for a fun session. It's called Weirder Things. That's what so I don't know what I'm going to be expecting. Maybe some Stranger Things stuff. DanaeKeener.com.
Hello, everybody. I'm LBHackEmUp. That was Little Simon, and you can find me at LBHackEmUp on Instagram and all those fun things. You can also find me on Hack Recklessly on Twitch and the YouTubes, where we play TTRPGs, horror games, and if you're interested in fun actual play podcasts where I've added some sound effects and sounds, you can go to Spotify to check out Hack Recklessly, where we have the Trenchcoats and the Weeb, and also Nonverbal Communications, which are 2-3 episode podcasts where we play through Monster of the Week games. It's a lot of fun. I worked very hard on them, and they make me happy. There'll be another one coming out in the next couple months, and then another one after that, and another one, because I just love doing them. So the next time you'll see me live is on Wednesday on Nerd Immersion's channel. We are running through The Lost Mines of Phandelver. I play a very different character there. Her name is Soot, and she is a changeling and has a bit of a juxtaposition when it comes to her normal self and her self that's obsessed with fire. So that's fun. But check out my Instagram, my Twitch, or my Twitter for all that sort of fun stuff too. And that's me, DanaeKeener.com.
Hello, everybody. If you've made it this far, you probably already know who I am. But if you don't, hey, Acorns, what's up? It's me, your buddy, your pal, your friend, the Indoor Adventurer, the showrunner here at twitch.tv/Indoor Adventures. We do shows like this on Mondays at 5:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time and Sundays at 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. If this is your first time joining us, you can go to youtube.com/Indoor Adventures to check up on the VODs of all of the shows that we have done up until this point. Or you can check up on our after show called Nights in the Courtyard, where we answer questions not only from each other, but also from the community over at patreon.com/Indoor Adventures. So we are going to be heading over there. So I'd like to say thank you again to everybody who decided to stop by. Thank you to these players for putting up with my bullshit once again this week, and Danae's bullshit. And we will see all of you guys next time. All right, everybody. See you soon.